Hey guys, it's Paul Silva from Paul Silva Coaching. I'm a life coach who specializes in addiction recovery and also in life transitions. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about high functioning alcoholics. Um, I call them currently functioning alcoholics. Um, this is a person who is drinking excessively or drinking at a problem level. They have an issue with alcohol, but seemingly everything is well. Everything is shiny and sparkly and all those kind of things. Life is good from the outside looking in. But really, it's what I call the yets. Um, they haven't lost the job yet. They haven't had the marriage fall apart yet. They haven't been had their kids taken away yet. All these kind of things, or been arrested yet. So everything is going well. Everything on the surface, probably having a great career, usually at a mid to top level. Intellectual and witty. They have all the trappings, all the material goods. They are outgoing and gregarious. They don't seem to have a problem. But that's just a facade. That's just a veneer. And it is challenging when trying to talk to someone who is having a problem and is in denial, because that's the biggest thing with high functioning alcoholics is the level of denial, because they will approach things with sort of an intellectual pride and will show examples or try to argue their way out of being shown that they have an issue. And I have a separate video on how to approach a high functioning alcoholic, so you'll have to check that out. So what are some warning signs of high functioning alcoholics? I'm going to go through some of it. These, it's not an exhaustive list, but these are the major ones. The first one is they need alcohol to relax. So they will constantly justify and rationalize how much they need to have or to go out because of their work or life, whatever that. They're the first, at the bar, at work, after work, and they might down two or three right away just to start to get settled. But they will always rationalize the need to have alcohol at home, outside of work, whatever it is. So that's one thing. Another one is, like other alcoholics or people with substance abuse disorder problems, their tolerance is really high. And so they've built up this tolerance over time. So what may take, a social drinker, a glass or two may take them 5 or 6. And so you'll find that they're going to drink usually a lot more because they're trying to hit that certain level of, whatever the buzz that they're looking for, whatever that fix they need. So their tolerance has increased. They also find, you'll find with high functioning alcoholics, drinking is, a major part of their life. I know it sounds obvious, but they will try to go to places and events and all that where drinking is a mainstay, or at least is the center of focus. You won't find them much on coffee dates, but they would love to have a drink after work. But they will certainly rearrange their lives in many ways, their schedule, so that they're at places where alcohol is a major part of the evening or day, so that they can kind of blend in and not feel like they stand out. Another one is other people, and this is more again for maybe people at a high level in their work. Coworkers or subordinates usually will ignore it, their bosses or their coworkers way of acting. They kind of just say, well, that's just Jane, that's just, so they'll turn a blind eye, but they all know that that person has a problem. And this goes with friends as well. High functioning alcoholics, most people don't see that they have a problem, but people close to them will. And so another sign is people will just ignore it because they just think, Jane, she's such a fun loving and she's really cool and she does well, so maybe we just won't talk about it. But deep down, they all know that there's an issue. Another one is that they will joke about their drinking. They'll say, drunks go to parties, alcoholics go to meetings, and all this kind of thing. They'll kind of joke about it. And I wonder sometimes if that is, the recognition that something is not going well. And so this is a way of maybe sharing it that doesn't really put the pressure on them because they're just joking. So they will joke about their alcohol consumption and maybe that they're an alcoholic, but when pressed, they'll deny it because high functioning alcoholics and alcoholics in general are big deniers. Another one is, they will begin. See, what happens is when I say currently functioning is that things start to, the wheels start to come off at some point. And so high functioning alcoholics will start to see the effects slowly. So, physically, their face might be bloated, dark circles, bags, bloating in general. They might have to, for women, maybe put more makeup on to cover that up, or maybe change their clothing or something. There will be effects, and they're going to start. Maybe they're not getting up as early as they used to. Maybe they're sleeping in a little bit more. Maybe they're going to bed a little bit later or earlier. They're starting to, things are starting to change in their lives, and that is from the increased drinking. Another one is, they drink alone. And so while they can be gregarious and outgoing and fun, a lot of times when they have their recharge time, their alone time, drinking is involved. And so this could be going to a bar by themselves. It could be just at home, having a bottle or two or three, whatever it is that they're having. And so that a lot of their alone time is spent with alcohol as well. With that, another one is mood swings. So, and this is very common with alcoholics in general, is they can be on top of the world, fun, laughing, and the next thing being really down and depressed, very angry. That's another one. Certainly resentful and anger are things that are very common, feeling isolated and withdrawn. And so the mood swings back and forth, that's another sign that it could be, or someone who's a functioning alcoholic. And I guess, with that, losing friendships. I think relationships tend to be the first thing that goes in the lives of functioning alcoholics, high functioning alcoholics, because people start to see what that person may not want to see. And so they start to the high functioning alcoholic will either push them away to isolate them or keep them at arm's length because they want to maintain their lifestyle. Or friends will just say, you know what, I've had enough, and they'll create their boundaries and say, I don't want to be around you when you're drinking, or I don't feel comfortable being around you or being in the car with you or anything like that. So that's another thing is the slow drop off in friendships. And speaking of car, the last point I want to make is high functioning alcoholics start to take more risks. And so as they start to have a maintenance level in terms of how much they're drinking, their judgment is impaired. And so they'll start taking higher risks. They, driving drunk or, buzzed, whatever it is, having consumed something, extramarital affairs. It could be stealing from the company. It could be just any kind of risky behavior that, most of us would kind of go, ooh, that's dangerous. High functioning alcoholic will start to take more of that on. So any or all of these are, it just depends on the person. Some may have some of these and not the others, but generally high functioning alcoholics will have most of these, and there's some other ones as well. So you can always look that up as well. So if this is someone that certainly there is a way to approach them. Like I said, there are ways to approach them. If this is you, congratulations in starting to see that this may be an issue for you. And it's not something to fear. Recovery, sobriety, it's a beautiful thing. And it takes usually a lot of pain for us to get to a point where we've said enough, we say enough is enough. The elevator only goes one way, and that's down. And it's up to us when we want to step off. So if this is you, I encourage you to seek help, to talk to someone about this, because, it only gets worse. It only gets worse. And I can tell you from experience and the hundreds, if not thousands of people I've spoken to or heard or read about, it just never gets better. And it's better to get off now before things really start to happen. All the yets, arrest and losing careers, all those kind of things, because it does happen. So anyway, I hope this is of some help. If you have any other questions or you want to find out more about addiction, recovery, or addiction, drop me a line, paul@paulsilvacoaching.com, or you can leave a comment. Okay, take care, guys. Have a great one.